What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 13 of PMP, also known as the Potty Mouth Podcast. It is Wednesday, October 23rd. Today we're going to get into the WNBA Finals very quickly. We'll preview the World Series very quickly. We'll do a little more in depth tomorrow. We'll get into the NFL from the weekend. We'll get into NCAA. We'll do a little NBA preview to close out the show. I am Greg, and I'm here with
Vinny, as always.
So welcome to the show, and let's get right into it. I said it a couple weeks ago that the WNBA Finals is always entertaining, and this one people are saying it could be one of the best finals ever. Went 5 games. Game 5 went into overtime, and the New York Liberty get their first ever WNBA title. They were, other than the very beginning of the year when the Connecticut Sun caught fire, they were the best team. Other than that hot start, the best team all year, and they were poised to win a trophy sooner or later after a loss to Vegas last year. And they pull it off. They did not play well at all. Some would say there was a questionable call, which should have been a no call at the end. I've heard both sides of it, but needless to say, Minnesota could have easily ran away with that game. They did not, even though they're a very good defensive team. They'll be back. They'll be fine. Nafisa Collier proved that she's the second best player in the WNBA by far. So congratulations to the New York Liberty on their first ever title, long overdue. They've had some great players, including the first player that Ryan Ruocco said. I thought what he said was nice. The first franchise gets their first title, and he was doing the game with the first player, Rebecca Lobo.
There's my girl, Rebecca Lobo.
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
It was good.
That this is the first title for them. Honestly, I don't follow. I've probably followed more in the last couple of weeks, talking to you every week, going through what we've gone through, than I have in the last however many years in existence. But I was blown away to hear that. I actually thought they had won before. I actually, for whatever reasons, thought maybe you were even. I know you've had tickets and you've gone and you've seen them. I was blown away that this is their first title. So congratulations to the New York Liberty, and in their run this year. It seems like they had a successful season, obviously, and hopefully they can come back again and do it next year.
Yeah. So Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart get gold medals and a championship in the same year. Good for them. And Jonquel Jones, former league MVP, gets the MVP of the finals. She played great. Canyon of Heroes parade is Thursday with a nice little after party. I believe it's free for fans at Barclays. All right. So
Not
good
our
on
brother
them.
Jimmy's.
What's up?
It's not our brother Jimmy's this year.
No. And then
Okay.
quick side note, the players have opted out of their the CBA in the WNBA. So good on them. Let's get some pay raises for the women. All right. Vin, you're up next with our next order of business.
The next order of business is something I don't even want to talk about, but I'm going to because we don't have a choice. MLB World Series, New York Yankees versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and also a sad loss today. Fernando Valenzuela passed away, 64 years old. I don't know exactly what from yet. I know that he had left his broadcasting duties for the Dodgers last week before the Mets series and was not doing well, not feeling well. And today I woke up and I saw that he had passed away. And Fernando Mania and Fernando Valenzuela was a huge part of my childhood as a Dodger. So that's an unfortunate situation for the organization and the family, and it's getting into this World Series, another motivating factor for the Dodgers here to play against the Yankees. I hope the Dodgers rot in hell. I hope they lose. I hope the Yankees sweep them, so we can finish talking about both of these teams. I thought the Mets series for the Dodgers, I thought the Mets had the better pitching in that situation. I thought the bullpen game was going to hurt the Dodgers. It did for one game, it didn't for the other. Um, I don't know what the Yankee plans are. I don't know if Nestor Cortez is going to be on the roster or not. I think this is going to go 7. I think this is going to be a made for TV. MLB has to prove something in economics and ratings, and what better than do it with to do it with Judge and Otani. I'm going to take the Yankees in 7 here. I just think that I think their starting pitching is better than what I just saw from the Dodgers, and I think that um, there's certain positions the Yankees have the upper edge on in this matchup. Um, I'm hoping it goes 4 and the Yankees sweep them, but that's just me wishful thinking. But I really do think the Yankees starting pitching, even if Nestor comes back or Stroman comes back, that's better than Flaherty and or whoever else the Dodgers have at this point. So, what are your thoughts on the World Series with this um, matchup here coming starting in LA tomorrow, Friday night?
Yeah, I just quickly back to Fernando Mania. I think I saw liver cancer.
Okay.
I think my friend texted me that, so I'm gonna trust him. Um, yeah, I'm not anti Dodgers. I think it's like I said. I think it's a win-win for the Mets, whoever wins the series, because I think Cohen's gonna get competitive and open up the wallet, especially when close to us being Met fans. We care about this. I won't make this about the Mets after this sentence, but
Yeah, you can.
almost $190 million comes off the books for the Mets. So it's time to spend, time to add the farm and free agents, just like the Dodgers. I disagree with you. I think it's going to be the Dodgers in 6. I think Cleveland got to the Yankees' pen a few times, and Cleveland does not have an offense. And I don't think after Freeman, Otani, and Betts, who are just as good, maybe better than Soto, Stanton, and Judge. The Yankees don't have a Muncy. The Yankees don't have a Kike Hernandez, who has phenomenal postseason numbers. So I think the Dodgers are better. I think the Dodgers' pen is better. I think they, especially with this long break, I think they can survive a bullpen game if they have to. I'll take Yamamoto in a big game over Rodon. And if Nestor, I like Clark Schmidt, but I'll give me Moto. He's going to earn that money. So I'm going to go Dodgers in 6. I just think they are the more talented team, and I think they've been here um, a lot. They've been in the playoffs a lot, and they have the best player in the world. So give me the Dodgers in 6. Um, and that's my prediction. World Series MVP Mookie Betts.
I'll take Soto, and that's gonna just increase his payday.
Yeah, and no one can pay him more than Mr. Cohen. All right, so we'll dive back in to the World Series tomorrow when we do kind of our preview show for the weekend. Game 1 will be Cole versus Flaherty. We'll get into the numbers tomorrow and preview the weekend. That will be baseball. So now we'll do the NFL. Just quick wrap up. It's Wednesday. Everyone knows what happened, but we'll start with my former team, the Jets, going to Pittsburgh on Sunday night and forgetting how to cover a number 1 receiver, forgetting how to stop a big kind of slowish, non-explosive running back, forgetting how to complete a pass when it counts, forgetting how to play solid defense, forgetting how to tackle, all the above, forgetting that Russell Wilson can still throw the ball. Russell Wilson looked good. He opens up that offense. My good friend Brian, who was a Steelers fan, he was questioning what this would do for Steelers. And I said it's going to open up the playbook. It's going to open up the passing game. It's going to activate George Pickens. And they scored 37 points on the 8th-ranked Jets defense, which was banged up in the secondary, but that shouldn't matter when you have, guys like Sauce Gardner out there.
He's playing.
Sauce, yeah, but
He's active.
he doesn't follow. He doesn't. Salah's defense, which are still running, doesn't have the number one cornerback follow the number one receiver, so he's not going to be on every play, which he should
Would you
be.
say he's a player that's kind of gone backwards in the last?
No, if you look at the analytics, like
Okay.
PFF and all that stuff, it's him and Patrick Surtain 1 and 2 in every category.
Okay.
Um, I can see why you say that, but he doesn't follow. Like he's not on the guys every play, and Salah would say that last year when it was questioning, how come he's not following Tyreek, and Salah's answer was, we don't do that. So whatever.
And I understand from a scheme and how you play defense and so on. I was just asking because I don't see his how the first year when he was a rookie he was lights out, where he
Yeah.
was on like almost every highlight.
Yeah.
And I don't know what defense they ran that year as opposed to. I mean, it was Salah's defense then too, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So that's why I was asking. I haven't seen much of anything at all. If he's 1 and 2, congratulations for being number 2. I just didn't.
I think last year he finished as the top corner. If you look
Okay.
at like all the analytics and all that crap.
So they have other issues, like you had said, as giving up 37 points to a Steelers team who's usually not scoring over 25, 26 points a game. So there's obviously other glaring holes that you had just touch base on.
Yeah, I mean they abandoned the run. Rodgers is bad. Devontae looked rusty, and maybe it could be too late to clean up. So I just wanted to get into that because obviously the Steelers are good. This is more about the Steelers than the Jets. The Jets are the Jets, and the Steelers have a new quarterback, and who, if they can score 28 points a game, they're going to be almost impossible to beat, especially at home.
Right.
With that coach.
And Rodgers shows up on the injury report today. He's got multiple issues he's dealing with. Well, now all of a sudden he's on the. I mean, it's just nonsense. It's time to move on from this whole disaster. Blow it up, move on, and let's talk about something else at this point because they're terrible.
I think they're in too deep to blow it up, which sucks. But I did see just last thing on this, maybe the last thing for the season.
Hopefully
for the Jets. I did see it was a question on one of the radio shows up here. Do you sit Rodgers to get healthy? Do you sit Rodgers 1 week to get him healthy for the next Thursday, the Halloween game?
What's next Thursday?
Halloween game, Houston. Do you sit him against New England?
Is he dressing up?
Who cares? All right, next game. The Texans go to Lambeau.
Get rid of all of them. I mean, if you can get anything for these guys, get rid of them. They're not going to do anything. Move on.
Texans go to Lambeau
to get these guys. Some of these guys
in a game where I said if it was over 82, take the over. Not my flush pick, but close. Vin tried to throw it in last minute. We don't do that because that would put a stain on my record. Texans get an absolute crap performance out of Stroud, but somehow almost win the game with the Packers' late field goal. Had the over, missed it by I believe 2 points. Packers 24, Texans 22. Good shootout. Good 2 young offenses, 2 young quarterbacks. One played better than the other. Exciting players on both sides. This one day probably will be a Super Bowl matchup.
Could be.
But Packers get out of there with the win. Any thoughts on what you saw there?
I think we said Green Bay at home is going to kind of win this game. I didn't think this was like a surprise. The Texans, I don't know what to make of them, honestly. I just think there's so much hype from last year still that's just hovering over them that they're expected to steamroll or win games like this. This is a really tough game to go into Green Bay for any team, not just the Texans, and expect to win. Obviously, Love is a little bit healthier this week than he was his first week back last week. So the results are what I expected. I didn't think that Green Bay was going to lose here at home. You got great coaching from the Packers every game. DeMarco Ryans is doing a good job with the Texans, but no Nico Collins is tough. It takes a little bit, you put more on the other guys that are out there. I don't know how much more you can ask out of Mixon. Mixon week in and week out still is producing, but they just came up short, and I don't know what the expectancy is at this point for the Texans. That's a tough game. I mean, it can go either way, but they've been on the the loss the ends the bad side for 2 weeks in a row now. So it's unfortunate, but you got to move on and you look on to the next week at this point. It's a long season, so
Yeah, I think what's expected out of the Texans is to easily win that division and be in the playoffs
yeah,
every year that they have a healthy Stroud.
NFL.
Mixon comes back. They're missing Nico, but they have tons of weapons. They'll be fine. But they don't. What we're learning is no one has Mahomes, no one has Lamar, and they're getting hot. No one has Burrow, and no one has Josh Allen. So,
hmm
next game, great
Well, those
game.
those teams have those guys.
I'm saying
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, just
they're
making sure they're
they're
still in the
not a
league.
dime a
That's all.
dozen.
Right.
But yes, the Bengals have a Joe Burrow. You're right.
Yeah. Right.
Um, next game could be a future NFC title game if your Niners can't get it together, and
Can't
if
get it together.
the Packers don't have anything to say about it.
I think the Packers will.
The Lions go to Minnesota and end their perfect season attempt or run, and it's 31-29. Lions get the win in a fun, exciting game. Goff is getting MVP talk. But the Vikings will be fine. The Vikings are getting Hawkinson back next week. So they'll be, locked and loaded with a playmaking defense. I feel like they get a touchdown on defense every week now. Flores is coaching his balls off. But you cannot blitz Jared Goff. You
Nope.
cannot blitz Jared Goff. He's amazing against the blitz. I don't know how. I don't know why. He gets it out fast. They have fast receivers. That must be what it. And they have the best offensive line in football. So the Lions look great. They look like the team to beat on that side of the bracket. Any thoughts on this divisional rivalry game?
No, I mean, this was what I thought it would be. Close game, a lot of points. Lions win. Uh, I don't. I mean, everybody wants to keep Jared Goff's good. Jared Goff was good before he got to Detroit. Jared Goff is Jared Goff, and they're successful in every facet of their offensive scheme. Everybody's involved. Now, what's his name suspended for a couple of games?
Yeah, Jameson Williams for
PEDs
PEDs.
or whatever he's doing. Who knows what he's doing? But I mean, there's just another guy that's going to step up and play for them, and that's if you Dan Campbell is that guy who defines that next guy up mentality, and he'll find somebody to
Khalif
come and
Raymond.
play. Whoever, that's fine.
Yeah,
Khalif's
is
going
he
to
a
have
Hurricane?
pick him,
Khalif Raymond a
pick him
Hurricane?
up. I don't think so.
No.
Sounds like a UCF guy or something, but no, that was expected from my thoughts.
Khabib Raymond. Is that what you're going for?
Who's Khabib Raymond?
Khabib is you said UFC or did you mean
Oh,
UCF?
yeah, same thing. You know what I meant.
No, I don't.
But yeah,
But the
he could be a
Khabib
UFC
joke's
guy.
good.
We don't know. You like that? No. Well, listen. I said it after the Cowboy game. Somebody has to come to the table and explain to me why Goff's just another guy, because I deal with it with the Purdy talk. Game manager guy. These guys, they win and they put up numbers and they don't turn the ball over, except for Purdy last week. But the Goff's been great for them, and he's been a. That's it. You look. I understand the Rams won a Super Bowl at Stafford. I got the whole trade. I get it. That's fine. But in the long run, this is a better opportunity for Goff and the Lions. They're going to be long-term successful. Good win for the Lions again after the last week's beatdown of the Dallas Cowboys, they had off last week. Is that
Cowboys
good?
are on a bye. Yes. Now they
I
they
saw
play, they play your boy.
Dak was giving he got engaged. Congratulations, Dak Prescott.
Did he
That's
propose? Did he propose to CD Lamb?
I don't think so.
Are they on the
but
same page now? That's what I mean by that.
I mean, it's the at least somebody in the family has a ring.
You've been thinking about that all weekend?
I just think he stinks, and I think he should give his money back to the organization.
Give me Dak Prescott with Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Ooh wee. But I'm gonna push.
That was talk. That was talk. If they didn't sign him, that the Jets would be interested.
I know.
In him. And that would be amazing.
I'm gonna push back on one thing you said was that Goff was good before the trade.
Yes. Yep.
I disagree. I know he got to the Super Bowl, but he couldn't He couldn't move the ball, and McVay was famously coaching him until the mic came off. Um, McVay was reading the defense for him when he was in his early years. I do agree that he's in a much better situation. It was a win-win trade. Goff has the best line. He's got two Pro Bowl caliber running backs. He's got St. Brown. We'll have Jameson back again. They have a
Good tight ends.
an up and coming tight end. And a playmaking defense. And they did
Yeah.
lose the best pass rusher in the league, arguably.
Next man up.
But yeah, he might be back for the Super Bowl because apparently it was the cleanest leg break you could ask for. So
Well, I guess if that's a thing, good for him.
no, they say if they make the Super Bowl, he might be
No, I
available.
saw that. That's awesome. I hope he does come back, and I hope that's a story, and I hope they do. And if the 49ers don't get their shit together, I'm hoping that they do what they did last year, get to that NFC title game, and can make some noise again this year, and hopefully get to that Super Bowl.
And lose to the Chiefs. Speaking of the Chiefs and Niners, I'll let you cover this game. Kansas City goes to San Fran, gets a 10-point win, 28-18. Then take it away.
Too many turnovers. Purdy just turned the ball over way too many times. It's not rocket science. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win games, and he did that. And that's the difference in this whole game. I mean, granted, you can make all the excuses up you want in the world. No one's playing. There's no receivers for the Niners. That's fine, but you can't turn the ball over regardless. They had chances to come down. The red zone turnovers, just not a good situation at all. And Chiefs, I guess you want to say that this is a good win for them on the road there in San Francisco. That's fine. This wasn't a game where that was like, and once again, they did it last year too. It's not a team that's going to blow you away in October and November. They win. They win, and they win and when it really matters. And this was a game that was important, probably more to the Niners than it was the Chiefs at this point. And they came in and took care of business. Not many teams can go in there and win, and they did a good job. They all hail to the Chiefs. Good win for the Chiefs. Niners just are disappointing. They're hurt, and I don't know what's going on in that. It looks to me as like a whole different team from last year, and it's the same guys. And what I mean by that is it looks like they're no. Obviously, McCaffrey hasn't played. I don't think he's going to play all year. And I said that from I think the start. I said he's an every other year guy. He's usually hurt. He was healthy last year, which was doomed this year. And then to get into the whole, it just seems like it's so the holdouts to the Ayuk now blew his knee out. He's out for the season. It's just a recipe. It's been a recipe for disaster before the season started for them. So, not what I thought it would be, but not surprising at the same time.
Yeah, I have seen that Patrick Mahomes is not having a good year at all statistically. Spags on defense is just dialing up great games, and they're getting enough. And that guy's not really going to lose you a game. So, yeah, if you're turning the ball over, you're not going to beat the Chiefs, home on the road, healthy or not. All right, so as a Niner fan, you have Ayuk now done for the year. You have Debo in the hospital as of yesterday, right?
Yeah, pneumonia.
Do you want to make a trade for a receiver, or are you gonna ride this out?
Who am I getting?
Um,
Tyreek.
no, because
Tua's
he's
coming
coming
back.
back. Two was close to being back.
I'm not getting Cooper Cup. They're not going to trade him in the division.
I agree with that.
So
I don't think
there's
Pickens
nobody.
will be moved now. DeAndre Hopkins is moved already.
Maybe Deontay from Panthers.
Yeah, that's a good option. But you also have Pearsall should jump on the field now, and Jennings, right? So you will have weapons, and you have Kittle, and I think Debo should be
Jennings is
fine.
hurt. He's not going to play this week. Neither is. I don't think him or Debo are going to play. So I think going into this week, it's Ricky number one, and then two guys that no one knows. So
You're gonna call up Miami, get Odell.
no, 5 years ago, I would have got Odell when he wanted to come here, and they trade him to Cleveland.
And we'll see what happens with all that. Ravens. The last game we'll get into on Monday night. There were two Monday night games, both close, but only one was interesting. The Ravens went to Tampa and got off to a slow start, and then just took over. And Derrick Henry turns back the clock yet again. Um, Harbaugh's just he's just better than Bowles, and Baker showed up a little bit. I know,
A lot of injuries.
get well soon to Chris Godwin with an ugly injury, and the hamstring crept up again on Mike Evans. So get well soon to Tampa, but the Ravens do what they do. The Ravens go and they kind of squash their opponent. Things got a little interesting late with the onside kick and the late touchdowns, but Ravens were never in too much danger of losing that game from like the second quarter on. Ravens look like the second or third best team easily in the NFL. Maybe even better than Kansas City. If you replay that game, they lost by a toe. Um, so more of the same from Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate injuries. Obviously, we don't know what would have happened if those guys finish up the game, but um, 31 points is a pretty good amount of points against the Ravens defense. And that really wasn't with Mike Evans most of the game and Godwin. So Baker's done a really good job down there. You say what you want about these kind of games where the Ravens are a good team. I have them in the Super Bowl this year. They're a tough team, man, and we saw Zay Flowers going off a little bit last week. I think he had a pretty decent game this week too. They didn't go for the big trade yet. Obviously, we had the Bills going for Cooper and the Jets going for their receiver. I mean, could you imagine like a Cooper Cup in a Ravens uniform?
I don't.
I mean,
I don't think they need to.
It would just solidify their other receiver. I mean, Bateman's here and there kind of deal, but
Yeah.
what's really been a big difference is Mark Andrews has really kind of stepped up, and they've kind of trusted him a lot more than the other kid, likely. So, um, the Ravens to me are still that team. I think they're better than the Chiefs all around, in my opinion. Um, and I think this is Lamar's year to healthy, stay healthy. But listen, Derrick Henry's running, excuse me, speeds that are from another planet.
Yeah, he's
And
aging in reverse.
it's insane. It really, he is aging in reverse. And what he's doing on the field for them is amazing. It's lighting the load for Lamar to have to take off and make those third down plays. And it's just, they're in a good spot. It was a good win again on the road. Like you said, Harbaugh, it's coaching. Coaching is so much of the NFL. And it just shows in a lot of these games. And it's a good Raven win on Monday night.
Yeah. All around, the Ravens might be better, but close game late. I'm still taking Mahomes.
Really? Okay.
But hopefully we get to see that if my Bengals
That'd be nice.
can't squeeze in there.
They're getting there.
All right, next up, diaper dandies. This is where we will look at some rookies. This week we're going to stick to the NFL. The NBA rookies are taking the court. The NHL rookies are doing some things too. We'll look at them shortly as the weeks come and the seasons progress. But this week, Malik Neighbors got back on the field. 8 targets, 4 catches for 41 yards. Somehow he's still alive on that offense. His teammate, Tracy, the running back, 6 carries, 23 yards, no touchdowns. Somehow he's still alive. And my buddy Doug, who's a Giants fan, text my buddy Brian in our group chat, who's a Steelers fan, and he wants Hyatt dealt to the Steelers. But I don't want that because then Neighbors and Tracy are going to have more carries, more chance for head injuries and leg injuries because Daniel Jones is going to get someone killed out there. Jaden Daniels injured during the game. 2 for 2 for 6 yards. quick exit, rib injury. Hopefully he's all right. We'll see if he comes back to play against Caleb Williams after the Bears have the bye. Marvin Harrison Jr. not lighting up the scoreboards like he did in what was that, week 2, week 3. Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 catches for 21 yards, did not get in the end zone. And then the sleeper rookie of the year candidate, if he can keep this up while everyone else kind of might get a little banged up or doesn't, blow you away numbers wise. Brian Thomas Jr. is really coming on with Trevor Lawrence,
stink.
five targets, 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown in London versus the Patriots. And that is diaper dandies. And then just
Patriots
quick,
stink, by the way.
yeah,
They're
there's
hard to watch.
rumors that there's whispers in the building that they're kind of done with Mayo already, which is nonsense.
Already?
Yeah, maybe they want Vrabel, which I think is disrespectful, but I kind of
they should have got him last year.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I heard on the
I mean, it
news
makes
today.
sense, unfortunately, but I mean,
Yeah.
why just not, whatever. It's not the Patriot way.
But Drake May looks good. It looks like
Yeah, it does.
if they can get him some weapons and an offensive line, he might succeed there. And there's quick 2 little news stories from the NFL. Cooper Kupp apparently on the trading block, and DeAndre Hopkins traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs from the Titans.
Is that a new team?
The Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, they're in the NFC.
Yeah, sounds like
they're
it.
they're in the AFC Midwest.
Nice. That's a good division.
Yeah. Slacksonville Jaguars.
Nice. They're probably better than the Jacksonville
They're
Jaguars.
good. They beat them in the playoffs last year.
Oh man. What else do we got here?
You lead the way, baby.
Oh my God. NCAA football. The best day of football on the weekends is Saturday football. I don't care what anybody says. Best game of the week, obviously, was the Miami Hurricanes versus the Louisville Cardinals in Louisville.
Did someone warn you about Louisville like for weeks or no?
It warned me, and then you take them to win the Canes to win last week. So I don't know where we were going with that, but
It was a close
man,
game.
I mean, what a game, right? Joe Tessitore on the call. What a guy. Talking over every important thing that's going on.
Explaining everything way too than in-depth.
Way just ridiculous. He's starting to become my favorite Monday Night Raw guy, though. What more can you say about the Miami Hurricane team? Now, I'm gonna say this as an honest sports fan. They haven't played anybody.
They need Cal to. They need
at their level.
If they're not going to go undefeated, they're going to need
Well,
Cal to win one of those games. Cal
Yeah.
keeps losing everything by like a touchdown or 3 points.
I know, but say what you want, the rankings, whatever. They haven't really played anybody. I got it. They're not there for no reason, though. They're dominant on the offensive side. Cam Ward's ridiculous. Their defense in the secondary is just, it looks like the Niner defense. There's just the second and third, the third level is just bad. With that being said, though, they pulled out a must-win victory. They were up 14 going into the beginning of the third quarter, and just quickly got deleted with a kickoff return and then fumble turnover. Louisville scores, ties it up. But I mean, look at the numbers. Cam Ward's pretty damn good. The running game looked okay. Fletcher fumbled, key point in that game, but and they're good. They're good. I just like to see him play against somebody other than who they played so far, but they covered. That was important. That was one of my picks. So 2-0 for the week with that, but that's another conversation for another day. Hurricanes still stay ranked number 6. What'd you think of this game? I know we were kind of talking back and forth of this. You were talking Louisville up, and by the way, Louisville has some players in a lot of that. The Alabama transfer receiver is very good. Obviously went to Bama for a reason, and that freshman running back is lightning. They have a lot of good pieces. Here's the problem I have with Louisville: they have Brome coaching, who stinks. and they have a Charlie Strong lookalike on the sideline who runs their defense, who's already coached at Louisville and Miami and everywhere else, USF and everywhere else. That team has got such potential. They played
Yeah,
their balls off. That kid does not turn the ball over as the quarterback. I think he's another guy that's a fifth-year transfer quarterback, in the portal. Didn't turn the ball over at all. So what more can you ask for from them? They played their ass off.
yeah. I wasn't messing with you. 100%. I wasn't kidding with you when I kept bringing them up. I thought it would be a challenge. Did think Miami would win? They did. I thought they would kind of light up the scoreboard a little more, and Louisville would kind of keep it interesting. But I like
You want them
Louisville. I do
100?
like Brom. I think they're one of those teams like a Memphis, like a North Carolina that will always have an offense, but will never have a defense.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think Miami's getting a little disrespected by voters. I did see that they're. I hope Miami is undefeated. I hope they play Clemson. That's gonna be fun to watch. And
Mm-hmm.
just because the SEC keeps doing it to each other, um, and Oregon and Ohio State have done it to each other, and Penn State is going to play those teams. I want to see Clemson, Miami. I want these teams to play before the playoff.
Yeah.
I think it's fun. I think it's good for college football. It's good for fans, and it really will iron out correct seeding if these teams actually play. But I did see a scenario where Miami could end up in a four-way tie and not have to play Clemson, but still be undefeated. Is that true? I did see that where
Four-way
Miami could
tie
like.
with who?
I'm not sure. They talked about it on the Levitard show. The
Okay.
guy Mike Ryan down there is like a big booster, and he
Die Hard
said
Kane. Yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
way. I think Miami can go undefeated and not have to play Clemson and kind of sneak in undefeated into the playoff, which would give them
That
a
would
great
suck.
seed.
I don't want to see that. I mean,
Um,
that's not the way
I
to
don't
do it.
know the
But
exact how that would happen, but I heard it could.
does
Um,
Duke have to beat Clemson, and then Miami has to beat
yeah,
Duke, and
Duke's gonna have to do something. I believe. I think you're right.
that makes sense. Manny's down there. He's the head coach down there now. So
That's
and
your
he
next
and
game, right? Is that your
he
next
had a good
game?
win. Yeah, I think it is. And he had a good. No, we
No,
played Florida
Florida
State
State.
this
Florida
weekend.
State.
Whatever that
Um,
means at this point, they stink.
yeah.
They stink. They are beyond bad.
Yeah. Just I think Miami's getting a little disrespected. I think Oregon and Penn State are
I
as
think
good
I
as
think
one of the
voters
next one.
really enjoyed that Penn State Bowling Green game this year, and the fact that they were losing the whole game, Penn State, and wanted to just keep them up there in the top of the rankings. And
Yeah.
Franklin stinks, and they stink, and I hope they lose to somebody whoever's coming up. Did they play Michigan at all or no?
They play Ohio State. Do they play Michigan? I think they do play Michigan. Yeah. Last year, I
Well,
don't think they played
there's
anyone.
there's two losses. So
I think they play
um,
Michigan.
next game up on the docket, Nebraska Cornhuskers go into Indiana and get their dicks kicked in, big time. That guy Raiola looked like nothing like Patrick Mahomes. He looked like his brother, Patrick Mahomes' brother that day. He stinks. He stunk that. It was. I actually thought Nebraska had a chance in this game, and the line told you that that Nebraska had a chance in this game. So to get your doors blown off, turn the ball over 3 or 4 times, whatever Raiola did, is just. You can give me all the stories you want. He's the highest ranked quarterback in the class of whatever he is as a true freshman. You can't go into Indiana now in your 7th or 8th game and turn the ball over a ton of times. Now they're like Miami to me. They're somewhere in a team that nobody thought they were going to be good or this good. They're good, and they got the JMU coach there. He's doing a hell of a job with them. Their quarterback's hurt. I don't think he's going to play this week, which can really hurt them. But I mean, the Indiana Hoosiers for football in this year, I would have never ever. This would never have been a conversation to me a month and a half ago, and saying, yeah, the Hoosiers going to be undefeated and like whatever they are right now, which I think they're like 12 or 13. So
I think they're ranked higher,
shout,
higher than Bama. Yeah, they're higher than Bama now.
yeah, Bama stinks though. So
Yeah, I told you I love their coach.
yep,
I think I picked them to cover. Like I don't even remember what I said Thursday,
I think
but
yeah, you took them. You liked them. I
I did
didn't,
not
but yeah,
expect that. But
right.
I think Nebraska is going to be in that Ohio State game. I think they looked ahead.
Where's that
And
game? Do you know?
I think it's at the shoe.
Oh,
But I think
okay.
Nebraska. I think Nebraska's going to be embarrassed, and I think they're going to. play their balls off against the Buckeyes, but probably still lose, obviously. But I just want to give Vin and I write down the teams that we're going to talk about in the games and the results, and this is just a little respect for Indiana for that showing. And I think Curtis Rourke, the quarterback for Indiana, I think his thumb's improving, and he might suit up against Michigan State.
Interesting. Well, I'm just checking to see when this Ohio State game is.
I think Ohio State's home. Looking at
Yeah, at Ohio State. All
okay,
right.
yeah.
You can chalk that up for a loss. Alabama, I don't even know what they were ranked going into this game. They stink. Going into Tennessee, I had the Vols winning at home. This was like a game at half. Excuse me.
It definitely was a game and a half.
And then it was just Alabama turned the ball over like a couple times, right? Like things that they don't really normally do. I'm not sold on this quarterback that was in the running for the Heisman, which I don't think is a conversation anymore at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if DeBoer is asking him to do things that Saban avoided, but he does. He makes mistakes.
I think the conversation more is staying in your lane, right? Is what you're saying is like what are we doing more than we're supposed to do? But Nick Saban knew his players and what they were capable of, and that was you had a job. And I feel like they're letting this kid just kind of like do whatever he wants, kind of deal.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like Saban was probably more demanding and held you more accountable. Maybe
there you go. Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. You have more accountability with Coach Saban. I don't know this guy. I don't know what his coaching DeBoer style is. Yeah, I don't.
If you remember last year, if you watched those Washington games, you had Polk and Roma Dunze out there, and they let it fly. They were fun. They were fun as hell. With the playmaking secondary, and that is what Bama can do with their athletes. So,
yeah, and that's the thing. They have athletes, 5-star athletes at every position on the field too. So that's the scary part. But they don't look. They look like the Niners. They look like they're just in disarray. They look like they're not following their game plan from the beginning, their history of what they got them to be successful. And you can say what you want about Bama because of the coach now, but it's just not. It looks just off, and it doesn't look like Alabama football that we're used to. But we were also spoiled for so many years with them and how they recruited and the machine that they were. But nice win for the Vols at home. Not like a win that was like, to me, wasn't like they won. It was a win. Didn't really blow me away, but a win's a win in the SEC, and that means a lot. So congratulations to the Vols at home. Next up, the midshipmen and the cadets, the crews, Army, Navy.
Stay undefeated.
Army doesn't cover, though, which is a big line there. But 2 good wins for those guys. I think Notre Dame plays Navy this week, and I hope that Navy absolutely destroys them, I hope. And
ND's
I don't know where the
ND's like a 12 and a half point favorite.
Giant Stadium, right?
Oh, is it neutral?
Yeah.
I didn't
know
it's
neutral. Because that's going to be the excuse after Notre Dame loses. Well, we had to play at a neutral site. Navy ran all over us.
The field's crap because Daniel Jones leaves corpses
Turf
out there.
Stinks.
I had to trip over Tracy's corpse.
Mekhi Becton thinks the field stinks. He hates that place. So this is
Rogers' Achilles is still on the field.
Yeah.
Slipped on it.
So I'm not sure who Army plays, but yeah, good for those guys being undefeated. It's exciting when that's a different level of football. That's not SEC. That's recruiting kids on a whole different planet. And congratulations to those guys so far for this season.
Disciplined players.
Yep.
And great new coaching.
Yeah, and that's so important. And it's such a program, 2 programs that need that exciting coaching. And I'm not saying they reinvented the wheel at both of these programs, but when you got new, younger coaches that
are tweaking your offense.
Yeah, and they're successful. So
But
You know,
Army and Navy, if they keep this up, they might have to reschedule their Army Navy game till week 0 if they're going to be in playoff talk every year. I know
yeah,
that game doesn't count towards rankings apparently because
it doesn't.
it's after championship weekend. So I
Oh.
don't think that game
What's going to
counts.
happen this year then? Because it's going to mean, well, it should mean something.
Yeah,
It
I
might mean
believe
something for them.
they both play Notre Dame, right? So
I hope Notre Dame loses to both of them.
I heard someone say they should be tried for treason if they beat both of them.
They
Notre Dame.
should.
But yeah, if both of these teams are undefeated and they play each other, one or both could be in that college football playoff talk, and I don't think that game counts towards voting because it will be after the
Okay.
championship games.
Okay. Okay. It's like postseason MLB doesn't count for awards.
Or like the playing games in the NBA, yeah.
Got it.
The stats don't count, which is ridiculous.
Let's talk about what it was on paper supposed to be this extravagant
Clash of the
game,
Titans.
Clash of the Titans, Georgia beatdown of the Texas Longhorns at Texas with Bevo there. Uga didn't make the trip. That's okay. He didn't need to make the trip.
He almost got speared a few years ago.
Oh my God. Georgia puts an absolute beating on the Texas Longhorns in Austin in front of everybody and anybody. Kevin Durant was there. Vince Young is there. Ricky Williams. You can invite everybody. Coach Kirby had a different plan this night, and he absolutely took it to them. Both quarterbacks on Texas looked awful. The defense wasn't terrible. I think that the turnovers kind of hurt them a lot, obviously. But what a statement win for Kirby and the Dogs. Texas kind of showed you what they do every year. I'm not sitting there saying it's the end of Texas season. By no means am I saying that. But can they ever win that big game in the regular season that doesn't put them backwards? And here's another example of Texas football just getting you to a certain point and just losing every big game that they play. And you can't tell me otherwise. You can't sit there and say anything different from what they don't win big games. And now you're number one team in the country. You have a million people in your stadium, every star and celebrity on your sideline, 2 great quarterbacks, and you put up 15 points against the Georgia Bulldogs in your own house? How? How are you number one?
I think when a team as talented as Georgia plays with a chip on their shoulder, they're unbeatable. It looked like they were prepared for both Ewers and Arch, and not. I don't think many coaches or kids could do that. I think if Texas makes that quarterback change against most other teams, they might have a spark, might make that game closer. But Georgia came to play, and I wanted this to happen. I was rooting for Georgia. I thought they would be close. Didn't think they'd double them up in the score, but if Kirby Smart has that talent and he can get them to play angry and feel disrespected, I think they're unbeatable.
It's an interesting team because I saw them play against Kentucky, and it was like a 14-10 game, and it was a close game. Kentucky at home played them close. Then they go and lose to Bama, right? Bama beats them, who stinks lately, and then they go and blow the doors off of Texas. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but SEC football is a different level of football. And you can say the Longhorns are now in the SEC, and I think Vince Young is now one of the best players ever to play in the SEC. He got an award the other day, by the way. Did you see that?
I did not. They're getting him SEC honors now.
Yeah, Vince Young has never played an SEC game in his life, and he was solidified as one of the best SEC players ever to play.
That's up there with, what was it, David Eckstein got inducted to the Jewish Baseball Hall of Fame. He's not Jewish. It's up there with that.
Is he not? Why is he not? Why?
He's just not Jewish.
I heard this is Kirby Smart's last year too, by the way.
He's retiring or jumping ship?
No, there's nowhere to go. I think he's done.
Interesting.
Does LSU play Georgia?
No. LSU plays Texas A&M this weekend for the sole possession of first place in the SEC, and then they have Bama after a bye week.
No, it's a good win for Georgia. I mean, I just expected more out of Texas to a certain level, and then I also know that it's Texas, and I also know that, like I just said to you, they can never get to that over
So
that hump of
people
like,
will call me a homer because I went to LSU
yeah, go
and
Tigers.
no, not even that, the SEC, and
Oh,
they'll say blah 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 blah, and they'll bring up Ohio State and they'll bring up Oregon and whoever else. Texas was beating Bama because they were paying their offensive line a ton of money, and their offensive line was manhandling the defensive line of Bama. That's how Texas was winning those games against Bama in recent years. But when you get past the trenches, Georgia, Bama, LSU,
second and third levels. Yeah.
their skill players are going to be better than you because they just breed
Yep.
them in those
Yeah.
states. But yes, listen, Texas can hang. Texas might be holding the trophy at the end of the year. But if you look at Oklahoma, they're not. They can't hang. This is a different level. Um, Oklahoma was cute. What they did in the Big 12 for all those years was cute, and they had some good players. Um, but it is a different level. Recent years, you've seen Michigan, Ohio State be able to hang, kind of maybe Oregon, even though Oregon, I don't think they had a chance against that. Was it the Cam Newton Auburn team?
Yeah. Good team.
So
Well, good college team.
so yeah, it is a different level. Not to be all homerish, but I mean, what
Yeah.
there's 12 college football playoff spots, and it's going to be mostly SEC.
Yep.
So
Good.
that says it all.
The proof is in the pudding, is what they say.
Yeah, that says it all.
Yep.
All right. Two more things to get to, and then we'll get you out of here, and then we'll be back tomorrow to again preview the weekend to come. Huge game for LSU and some decent games in the NFL. And maybe I'll touch on a little NHL. See how everything's going so far. My Stars and my Ranger pick was pretty damn good, even though the Stars took an L last night. But the Rangers look great, like I thought they would. Unfortunately for
Yeah. They look
My
real
Islander
good.
fan ants. But we'll do a quick NBA preview. I didn't prep Vin for anything, so if he doesn't really have an opinion or can't throw a name at me, that's fine. But I'm gonna say I'll just do MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year. Um, and my MVP is going to go to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I hope Luka gets one sooner than later. My Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Wemby. And he's minus money in Vegas to win Defensive Player of the Year as a second-year player, which is insane. Rookie of the Year, I like Reed Shepard on Houston. All talks are that he can shoot almost like Curry. He's the kid out of Kentucky. He's in Houston. I think he's got like the third best odds for Rookie of the Year if you want to put a little wager on Reed Shepard. Vin, do you have any predictions for that? I can give you some Vegas odds off the top of my head if you want to
No,
know.
I can give you two guys who I think might be Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Reed Shepard or the kid from Purdue, Zach Edey.
Edie?
I think one of them have a good
I
chance.
think Edie's the
Yeah.
favorite in Vegas
Okay.
for
So
Rookie of
I
the
think
Year. I
it's
think
I don't
Reed
I
Shepard is
don't really
second or third.
I don't think unless somebody's coming out of the woodwork that we don't really know about as far as
Those two Canadian kids that got picked high.
yeah.
They'll have something to say.
Okay.
But what I'm hearing about this Reed Shepard kid. They have a great coach, and they came on late. Houston's going to be good. Houston might even like knock out the Lakers out of the playoffs. We'll see. The biggest players changing teams. Paul George is now a Sixer. Karl Anthony Towns is now a Knick. For the old heads, Russell Westbrook is now a Nugget. DeMar DeRozan is now on the Kings. Chris Paul is now a Spur, so that's going to help Wemby even more so for easy lobs and all that. Once he's healthy, one I named is missing time, but my NBA,
Now, do you have Wemby being Defensive Player of the Year?
I do. He's
Okay.
minus money, which is insane.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
He
don't think
came
that's
second
a
to
question.
Gobert. I think So the Golik's talking about it. Um, and that's what made me think of this. Gobert's, I believe, in third best odds in Vegas, but Wemby came in second last year. People thought he should have won. Gobert's won it like 4 times, and I don't think he's going to get many votes anymore. Same with Jokic. I think it's time for Luka, Shea Gilgeous. I think it's time for one of them to get some love. Can never say they don't deserve it, especially when Luka takes his team to the finals last year, and OKC was the 1 seed, right? So,
Mhm.
speaking of OKC, I'll do my NBA Finals prediction. I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I believe Vegas probably has this too, but I'm gonna go Oklahoma City versus Boston, and I really want to say Oklahoma City is gonna win, but I can't. As much as I want to say they're gonna win, I think Boston wins in 6. I think this Thunder team is here to stay, though. Um, they're deep. They had a guy like Hartenstein when he gets back from injury, and Alex Caruso shore up the defense. They have enough offense to go head to head with anyone. They love each other. If you watch them in the playoff run last year, every post game interview on the court, they all stood with their guys. And there was like 5 or 6 of them, just arms around each other. They love each other. So you can talk about power of friendship with the Knicks, the Nova Knicks. They're doing it different down in OKC. So I wish them the best of luck. Should be fun. My Bulls hopefully can sneak into a playing game. But I don't know. I think it comes down to Boston again. They're all together, and everyone else is kind of doing musical chair act to catch up with them. And I don't think it's going to work. What's your prediction here?
So, do you want me to go through my awards or just my?
Whatever you got for me. Whatever you got for me.
Well, we already talked about Rookie of the Year. I think it's definitely going to be one of those two guys, Zach or Reed Shepard. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Wemby. I'm going to go Coach of the Year from the Rockets. I think they're going to have a kind of surprising turnaround year, and I think they're going to be somewhat relevant as opposed to what they've been in the last,
Yeah, I like
couple
that.
years. I'm going to throw another thing at you here where I'm going to hate to say this, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to go 6-man, and I'm going to go with Devo on the Timberwolves.
I love that. An angry Dante DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
I'm all here for it.
Yeah, I think that's that 6-man here. I'm gonna go MVP. I'm gonna go.
I think Luka's the favorite in Vegas, and then followed by Jokic, and then maybe SGA.
Yeah, I'm going with Jokic. I think he's.
Yeah, again. Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jokic again, and I'm gonna take Nuggets, Celtics finals. I'm gonna go, and I don't. Man, I'm gonna tell you something right now. If the Celtics are going to shoot like they shot last night all year, no one's beating them. I don't care. No one's beating them.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't matter who's on the court, what team's on the court, what year, whatever, anything. No one's beating them. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Celtics to. I always say this for everything that we do. Everybody obviously has to stay healthy, right? If that's the plan, and everyone is going to be all season, and it's a long season. I'm gonna take them to repeat, and I'm gonna take Mr. Brown to be the MVP Finals. Jaylen Brown.
All right, I'll go Tatum. I think Tatum has the monkey off his back. I'll go Tatum. Sixers,
Yeah.
Celtics in 6. My Eastern Conference Finals will be Boston over the Orlando Magic. Give me Jamal Mosley for Coach of the Year because you brought it up. My Western Conference Finals will be, just because I love Luka and I'm a Clay guy. Give me OKC over Dallas.
And on one more note with the NBA, okay. If LeBron's kid plays another minute this year and is not sent to the D League, it's something. I just can't wrap my brain around.
Oh, hold on, Vin. I'm going to stop you. Is this your Vinny Vidivici?
This is going to be it.
All right, let me give the graphic up. Graphics up. Vinny Vidivici. The fans can see on YouTube. All right, hit us.
It is an absolute embarrassment that this kid is on the court. Okay, number one, that he even was drafted by any NBA team. His college numbers were putrid. He played at USC. He barely played at USC. They stink. USC USC basketball is hard. There's mid majors that are 10 times better than USC basketball. The fact that this kid is on the court last night, he comes into the game. The Lakers are up 51-35 last night. Okay? Him and his daddy come in the game last night. And all of a sudden, it's 42-53. And they ran that kid into the ground last night. He is a liability on the basketball court. And if his name was not James and that wasn't his father, he'd be at USC cleaning up the court at the games. Because he's not good.
What if his name was James James?
He'd be in the stadium cleaning up all the people's crap at the end of USC games as a walk-on because he's not good. Okay? It's enough's enough with this whole experiment. If you want to help this kid, send him to the D-League. Let him get better. Let him learn. Let him, if you really truly believe he's going to be a star, okay? Stars don't average 3.4 points in college, okay? I'm just sorry to break the news to everybody. That's the bottom line. And you can say he got sick last year. He was hurt. He didn't play because of his heart condition. Fine. So then you know what you do? You go back another year and you prove yourself that you're a lot better than 3.4 points a game. That to me, the NBA. There's a lot of kids that should be on NBA rosters right now that deserve to be, that played in college, that put up a lot better numbers. Kids in the D-League that put up a lot better numbers. And I'm not an NBA guy. I'm not anything to – I'm the last person to talk about the NBA. But this is a disservice to this kid. And a disservice – and they won last night. Congratulations to the Lakers. I don't think that happens in a couple months. But you can't make any argument that this kid belongs on an NBA court. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with you, but I come at it walking on eggshells because
you didn't play in the NBA, so
no, I don't think Bronny asked for this.
Agreed. That's what I said. Disservice to this child because it's not fair to him.
Yeah. No, listen, I love it.
Let me talk to him.
It's just let him go be like a social media guy or something. Like go be a YouTuber. Do something that you're a billionaire, right? Basketball wasn't your calling because look, you think Jordan's kids they're successful. They stunk. But they averaged more than 3.4 points a game in college.
Yeah, was it Marcus? Who was the better one? He tripled Bronny's numbers, but different times.
It wasn't even close. But just because your father and you want to bring up Griffey's and this and that, that's a nice story. Ken Griffey Jr. was a generational talent. His father was an average baseball player, and it just worked out for them. And that was 40 years ago at this point, right? We're talking about it's just he doesn't belong in the court. And like you said, he didn't ask for this. And it's just an unfortunate. If they wanted to do this right, they should have signed him on a contract after the draft, sent him to the D-League, let him develop, and we'll play you if you improve. I think that's fair. And not a slap in the face to all these other kids who worked their tail off, whether it is in college or whether they're in the D-League or they played in Europe or whatever it is, and to watch this kid come out and get trampled on because dad is who he is just not fair. It's just not right. And that's it. I'm done.
And that was Vinny, Vici, baby.
I'm changing my handle. So all my names are going to be that from now on.
I think he. I think you're right. I think he should be in the G League. I think it might happen. Listen, if the Lakers are going to take themselves seriously, maybe they need a guy on the court like Dalton Connect more, who's going to help them. If they want to make the playoffs, they have been a fringe team in that 7, 8, 9, 10 spot. But yeah, I'll say this about Bronny. He seems damn mature.
Yeah.
Seems like a good
Hats
kid.
Off.
So I'm not rooting against them, but
I'm not rooting against them either.
Yeah, it does feel forced. You can't
set them up for failure.
Feels forced. Feels weird. It feels weird that Brian Windhorst is saying, "Watch out for this time for the history making substitution."
I don't know what that means. That's ridiculous.
He said to watch out, like end of the second quarter. Like it was almost like choreographed when they were going to come together.
Yeah,
like
you said, Nike's on the sideline with their cameras running, right? Because the Griffies you said were there too.
Yeah.
And now what? Now this poor kid's going to be sent to go play for the Shanghai Dragons next week, and they can put their Nike commercial out.
So that was every Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm gonna let Vinny let off some steam. So that's what do you.
And you're lucky I didn't talk about JD Martinez in the lineup last week when Mr. Winkett should have been playing, because that could be next week if you want to talk about that.
I think that's a Stearns thing. We can get into that.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think that's a Stearns thing, and the numbers geeks making the lineup.
Guys hit Dukes in the upper deck last week, and then now this week against the Dodgers, you're going to sit him down because JD Martinez wants to play, and Jeff McNeil, who hasn't played since fucking August.
Yeah.
Enough. Let Acuna play. Let the kid play. Why is he on the roster? You could let Ottavino play in the pen then.
Oh man. All right.
I gotta go.
Yeah. All right. Let me play us out. All right. As always, thanks. Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Trying to grow this channel. I know we've been a little slow. Me in particular with the social media stuff, but we will be putting out content early and often, starting this weekend and stuff. So please have a good weekend. Look out for us tomorrow. Again, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify, we are on Amazon Music, we are on iHeartRadio, we are on YouTube with this video. Everyone have a safe Wednesday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
What a waste of a roster spot.
Good night, guys.
Good night.